What is going on, everybody? It is episode 717 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, crisis actors. We're about to celebrate our first crisis party of the day.
Yes, we are.
Thank you for that. We're going to be reading all of those super chats.
Ah, that sound.
Yes.
It's been a while.
It's like brain rot to my ears.
Ah, yes. Technically, it went off before the show.
In case you forgot, my name is Mary. And you might be here because you watched me on IRL last night.
That's a good thing.
It was not, in fact, the last episode of IRL on Monday.
And how did it go last night?
It was fine. I mean, we had fun. I liked the guest. Ian was there, being Ian.
Did you do what I do when I go on IRL? Did you say the media is evil and politicians are lying?
No, I feel like they've heard enough of that. I tried to introduce some levity to the situation. I also valiantly defended the virtues of McDonald's and seed oils.
Is this in relation to the E. coli?
No,
thing?
they didn't bring up the E. coli thing. But when the Trump stunt came up on the show, I said, I love this. And then Ian said, I just can't get behind someone who's promoting poison for the American people. And I was like, hold on.
Let me tell you about poison.
Like, I don't care what's in it. The McGriddle
slaps.
It slaps, and it genuinely makes me feel so fantastic. Yeah. Like, it's a superfood. That's what I said. And to act like you're above McDonald's, it's inexcusable hubris.
Look, that's me and you.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Me and you valiantly, in an industry full of people telling you about all the evils of food, valiantly tell you, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't eat it all the time. But sometimes
maybe
you
should. Maybe you should eat McDonald's all the time.
I don't really eat McDonald's much, but even yesterday, I made a soda in the Soda Stream and said, you know what? I
deserve this. You made yourself a Shirley Temple. No, you made yourself an ice cream float.
They have branded Mountain Dew Soda Stream now.
It's zesty.
Yes, there you go.
It's zesty of you. After a long, hard day, you get home and you're like, you know what could really perk me up right now?
I could go for that. That's literally what I did.
Seltzer water with grenadine.
So first I give the cats their food. Guys, first we're gonna do all the intro stuff, and then we're gonna get to all of the $20 super chats. So just hold on. Just 1 second, guys.
Hold your horses.
Before we get started, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. We want to grow this show as much as we can, and the best way to do that is to share the show out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people you like, people you hate, everyone in between. The more people you share these live streams and these segments with, the faster this show grows. I am going to give you a warning ahead of time that I was already transposing words and saying things weird before the show started today, so it could be a rough one.
The brain rot is strong today.
It literally is. I've been watching so much brain rot on Instagram, it's starting to affect my speech patterns, but we're gonna hope for the best. So we got a bunch of $20 super chats. Let's get into those right now.
Yes. Shane H. Wilder said, happy Wednesday, Brett and Mary. Mary, I edited a Trump McDonald's image, so he's handing you fries, and okay, time to talk some pop culture with the best connoisseurs, the two best connoisseurs of cute and cringe in the business. Let's go.
Don't forget brain rot.
Yes, and brain rot. That's a mainstay now. I said on the show last night that if I got to be one of those people in the drive-thru and Trump served me a Big Mac, I would cast it in resin and then put it on my nightside table, and I would be able to look at it lovingly for the rest of my life while it doesn't even rot in there. You know, they have like they've tried that before. They've
tried to rot them and they don't.
They cast a Big Mac in resin. It didn't rot. It looked the same for decades.
I mean, anybody who's owned a car for any length of time and has gone through a McDonald's drive-thru has found a fry underneath their seat.
And still good.
I'm like, I'm not gonna eat it. But if I was hungry enough, it probably wouldn't be awful.
If it was like a survival situation. And everyone knows the preservatives just make it tastier anyway.
Alex Clark
I won't have any anti-MSG rhetoric. Okay.
What you should have done, though, you should take the bag that it's given to you in and, like, frame it in like plated gold.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew Jacobs said, okay, time for another 20. Congrats to Tim and Allison on their upcoming nuptials and baby. I wish you all the best. I am so grateful that PCC will continue and Mary and Brett still have jobs. I wish all the best to those let go.
Thank you for all the kind words, and Tim and Allison, I'm sure, are thankful to everyone that has wished them, good wishes about having a child. That's a very big deal. That's a huge deal. So it's very good for both of them. But yes, and thank you. We are still employed. We are we are working.
Yes. Okay, the next one was a $50 super chat from That Stanzatastic. Said, we need to have a backup plan for if anything happens to this show. I'm sure I could use this on something more crucial in life, but I mean, I kind of need my PCC fam. Don't effing leave, okay? Thanks.
You guys are the ones that have kept us on the air. It really is. Like, this show has grown. This show is doing it. Like, we work pretty independently. It's just me and Mary here, and we get some help with like graphics in the morning from Jessica. I do the thumbnails. Jessica helps with some of the more complicated graphics, but it's we run very, very smoothly. So, and that's in a lot of ways it's because of you guys, because you support the show. So thank you all so much for that.
Definitely. And I want you to understand this, because we like to be transparent with you, but at the same time, we're not just going to put all of the inside baseball of this company on blast.
It's not our job.
It's not our place to do so anyway. But yesterday we were obviously off the air, and we came back today, and we will be back for the foreseeable future. And there's nothing to worry about in that regard. We took yesterday to just discuss future plans for the show and our plans to relocate our studio as well. So we didn't have time to prepare for a live stream yesterday, but there's nothing to worry about going forward. Jose Quintana said, all hail the Ghost Empress and the Optical Overlord. Happy Wednesday. Mary survives the Timcast IRL cauldron with her wit and elusiveness. Long live PCC.
Rolling 20s.
Elusiveness.
Yep. All right, guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. And again, I just want to say thank you all so much for those of you who come here, who watch every day, who support the show in whichever way you do. It really is, in a lot of ways, it's because of you guys that we are on the air. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and we just had this huge boost in subscribers over the weekend, and we're going to take advantage of that. And we're really excited for where the channel is headed.
So what are we getting into today? We got a lot to talk about. So on Monday, celebrity endorsements continue to roll in for political candidates because the election just can't be over fast enough. But the celebrities love to get involved in politics because they're lazy and they're not at work. They should be at work. We've got more of those to get into. People like Usher, which was a big head scratcher given the video we made about him not that long ago. We're going to talk about Lizzo. We're going to talk about Eminem, all of these other people. So we're going to get into more of those cringy political endorsements. We're also going to talk about the fact that the Blade movie has been once again shelved by Marvel. And I want to make that a larger discussion about the general issues that seem to be plaguing Hollywood post-strike from last year. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Ariana Grande and Elvira. They have beef. And this is something that is so uniquely Mary, I can't even.
Who could have predicted that Ariana Grande and Elvira, of all people, would have a beef in Hollywood?
Not I.
It's over something incredibly hilarious and superficial, so we're going to get into it.
All right. If you're ready, then we can just go ahead and get started. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. And once again, I'm like not even on the right tab. I'm horrible at my job.
We are out of practice.
Yes, you take a whole day off. Look, there is actually a truism that 2 days off is the max you can have without problems. Meaning that anytime we're off for longer than 2 days, I come back, a light isn't working, something isn't loading properly. It's always after 2 or 3 days.
It's usually because Kellen has put your pen in
it's his fault.
He set it down at the wrong angle on the table or something.
You're
very particular. You're very routine oriented. Now we're back in the routine.
My chair just doesn't sit quite right because Kellen is just...
Yeah. He said he felt like he was sitting in a kiddie chair.
Well, that's his fault for being so tall.
Yeah, He shouldn't have been born that way.
All right, first things first, Lana Del Rey is in the news.
Yes, so there are more Halloween costumes trending right now. One of them is Lana Del Rey and her crocodile wrangling husband, Jeremy Dufresne. there are girls getting dressed up in slutty wedding dresses, and their boyfriends are dressing up in camo with blow-up alligators.
Look, this was always the natural outcome of city men, like cityites wearing Carhartt,
wearing Realtree and Carhartt
and Bass Pro Shop.
Yes, it became a trend.
Here we go.
This is one example.
Muting that so we don't get copyrighted.
Well, she's playing Ultra Violence here from one of her old albums. Very cute. I like this idea.
It's clever. It's at the very least very clever.
It is. I hope this catches on. I've seen a few examples so far.
There's one more here.
Yeah. It looks great.
I love it.
And it's easy.
Yep.
Just get a white dress.
Plus, she gets to use it if they're dating. She gets to use it as like a hint. Hey, let's get married.
Yeah, exactly. You can like subtly signal that it's time for him to pop the question.
I am on to you, ladies.
Yeah.
I am on to you, ladies. I got 20 there from Pop Culture Junkie.
Is this? Oh. Glad to see that you both are okay. I would hate to go back to taking so much time digging up all the pop culture sludge myself. You folks are such great time savers.
Well, that's what we do it for, my friend. That's why we are here. We are here to keep you away from boredom while at work and to curate all of the things you never wanted to know into something you, oddly enough, want to know.
I saw after you tweeted about us coming back on air yesterday, there were so many people in the replies saying basically that our show is accomplishing exactly what it was started to accomplish. And they literally were using the same language as our like slogan that we came up with. Like, we're helping you navigate the insanity of pop culture and making you feel like you're not alone for thinking that this is crazy.
Trust us, like every day we put on the hazmat suits and go into the sludge to
it's for love of the game, truly.
All right, so good for them. Do you have an over-under on the marriage? Do you think it lasts?
I hope it lasts. Honestly,
optimism
just because this is Lana Del Rey's first marriage, and I am sure that men have asked it before.
Yeah.
And I am sure that she delayed it because she wanted to select the right person to spend the rest of her life with. So I hope that she's taking it seriously and that they're both in it for the long haul.
It would be more of a red flag if she had been married before.
Yeah, and that's something you see with a lot of celebrities is just serial divorces.
Well, you hear that term starter marriage, which is the most depressing thing. Like, I actually can't put into words how depressing the idea of that is.
And people get addicted to the validation that comes from celebrating their union, so they have to throw that party over and over and over again.
See, I'm extremely...
loses all meaning.
I'm extremely self-conscious. I'd be like, why would anybody want to celebrate with me for my happiness? Like, why would anybody care?
Right. I mean, people are
Your friends care.
Okay. I made a comment about gender reveal parties recently, and I said they're becoming very narcissistic. They're all taking photos for Instagram. Nobody actually cares all that much whether you are having a boy or a girl. Like, congratulations, and all of that stuff, all of the niceties. And I do mean it when I say congratulations to people, but nobody other than you actually cares that much whether you're having a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
And they treat it like it's their second baby shower.
Well, we used to talk, we had a discussion when you were away, like the last time you were, I think you were doing Michael Knowles, about success showers. And I was like, well, it's different than the idea of a baby shower because a success shower is just an exercise in narcissism. Yeah. Look at me in my new $80K a year job rather than $50K a year job. Look at me look, I now make more PowerPoint presentations and schedule more meetings. Whereas when you were celebrating a baby shower, at least the way I always understood it was that in your community, you were celebrating a member of your community and a new member of the community being introduced, and that was something worth celebrating.
And not just celebrating, but it's a community coming together, pulling together their resources to help a young couple who needs the essentials to do so. The success shower thing, I'm sure they would say, oh, well, baby showers are just as narcissistic. And sometimes that's completely correct. Yeah. But the gender reveal parties are just a whole other level of superficial nonsense.
Well, speaking of superficial nonsense, Kim Kardashian is back in the news, and so is
Northwest just gifted her mother, Kim Kardashian, a diamond necklace that says Skibidi Toilet. It's inscripted with the words Skibidi Toilet.
So is this one of those things, like, just thinking of the logistics here? Did she have to use her mom's credit card?
That was my first thought, too. I don't understand
it's
how...
like a trophy wife buying her husband a gift for his birthday when it's just his money.
Like, I don't understand how an 11-year-old buys a diamond necklace. Like, how does that happen?
I'm picturing a Disney movie back in the 90s, like Blank Check, where goes to the jeweler and like nobody addresses the fact that the jeweler just lets the kid buy the buy the necklace.
Yeah. It's very puzzling. I guess she might have a bank account of her own.
Probably.
Since she's a Kardashian's child. Maybe it was Kanye's idea.
Wait, no, didn't her mom say that she pays North? Like North gets a salary?
She lets North have lemonade stands in their neighborhood, and she admitted that North tries to scam people out of their money. She charges like $20 for a cup of lemonade.
That's just the free market. Like if you're the only lemonade stand on that corner. Like,
I would pay a premium for a cup of lemonade from Kanye's child.
We literally, when we were driving, I think we were going to the movies, and me and Olivia passed by a lemonade stand right on the way into Frederick, and we pulled over and bought it was the warmest, not greatest, but you know what? I was like, but the government's not getting a penny of this. Give the kids their money. Thank you.
Yeah, it's wholesome.
It was very wholesome.
I always feel so bad when I drive past a kid's lemonade stand and I never carry cash on me.
We gave them the money and say, don't trust the government.
Do you have one of those Square terminals, Larry? I can tap?
Well, they can do that now. Like
I don't think most of the kids are hustling that hard.
If they're on their game, they're gonna be soon.
They should be.
They're gonna be soon. So that's the worst.
Like, do you take Venmo?
Have you ever seen those pictures of like cops shutting down lemonade stands?
No, that's awful.
Yeah, that's a thing. This is why I don't trust the government.
They don't want kids to get the bag.
Nope. Well, they can't tax it.
Yeah.
You know, that's all they are. They're just the oppressive side of the tax man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And again, guys, we've got Brainrot of the day, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Get excited for that.
The reason I can't speak properly anymore is likely because more and more of my time Instagram used to be clever skits and sketches. Now it's literally just human brain vomit that is engulfing me.
It's nothing new. I mean, YouTube poop has always been a thing.
No, it's nothing new, but I'm just saying, like, as I started saving them for the show, it starts, like, the algorithm starts recognizing that I'm putting them in a save folder. So more and more of the content that's funneling me is that. So, all right, let's move on. So you're going to have to explain the Zayn Malik, because you were pretty steadfast on doing this today. I didn't really understand it.
I mean, I just thought this headline was funny, but what's funny is, you know, Zayn Malik is another former member of One Direction, and this headline comes out only a week after Liam Payne's death.
Yes.
And people are talking about how you shouldn't idolize celebrities based on the image they project on social media. Obviously, Liam Payne had all the opportunities, all the resources, and all of the luxuries that you could possibly dream of, and yet he was, at least seemingly, living a hell in his own mind.
Yeah.
And that's a huge reason why you shouldn't just believe everything you see, and you should not want to emulate those people. And you should also just stay far away from Hollywood in general. But clearly, Liam Payne is not the only former member of this boy band that was dealing with some serious dysfunction in his life. Zayn Malik recently pled no contest to charges of harassment against his ex, Gigi Hadid, who's a supermodel. They have a child together.
They were just at the Victoria's Secret fashion show. She was, right?
Yes, yeah. So he's trying to co-parent with her, but allegedly an altercation broke out between Zayn Malik and Gigi Hadid's mother, Yolanda, in which he called her a Dutch slut. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but it's a quote, okay?
His words,
not ours. His words, not ours. We don't know if Yolanda is a slut. We do know she's Dutch.
I cannot confirm nor deny whether she is, you know.
Thank you, guys. Second party of the day already.
The amount of times she's opened her legs are not known to us.
So TMZ, as per usual, was the first to report on this, saying Zayn was charged with 4 criminal offenses of harassment, and one official document says he pled guilty to 1. And according to the documents, Zayn was at Gigi and his home in Pennsylvania, and it got into a nuclear argument with Yolanda.
He lives in Pennsylvania?
That's just one of their homes.
Okay.
Obviously.
Weird.
He allegedly called Yolanda an effing Dutch slut, ordered her to, quote, stay away from my effing daughter. And he said this, although it's hard to understand why, he referred to his effing sperm that came out of my effing beep.
Bleep.
Then, allegedly, Zayn Malik shoved Yolanda, this elderly woman, into a dresser, quote, causing mental anguish and physical pain. However, he denies any physical contact took place. He screamed at Yolanda, allegedly, screamed at Gigi, strap on some effing balls and defend your partner against your effing mother in my house. And then when a security guard came in to try to assess the situation, Zayn screamed, saying, get the F out of my effing house, copper.
To the security guard?
Because he's British, he calls them the coppas. And then tried to fight the security guard, allegedly.
Wait, isn't he employing the security guard?
I would assume so, but I guess the security guard should have minded his own business. And now Zayn has put out a public statement saying, as you all know, I'm a private person and I much want to create a safe and private space for my daughter to grow up in, a place where private family matters aren't thrown on the world stage for all to poke and pick apart, which is exactly what we're doing right now.
Well, that's what happens when you're a celebrity.
In an effort to protect that space for her, I agreed not to contest claims arising from an argument I had with a family member who entered our home while my partner was away several weeks ago. This was and still should be a private matter, but it seems for now there is divisiveness, and despite my efforts to restore us to a peaceful family environment that will allow for me to co-parent my daughter in a manner she deserves, this has been leaked to the press.
Not to interrupt the seriousness of that whole quote, there's a 20 there.
Oh, Robert G. Smith said, do Dutch sluts prefer Dutch ovens?
That's a very good question.
That's a good question.
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, we're going to have to think about that deeply and come up with an answer for you. No, not to take away from the seriousness of it at all, but every time that I'm reminded of Gigi Hadid and Bella Hadid's mother, Yolanda, I think of an infamous email that she sent to Bella when she was 16 years old. She got into a DUI arrest, and allegedly Yolanda went in to search Bella's car and found unspeakable horrors beyond her imagination.
I wish we had photos of this.
I really do too. I wish there was photo evidence.
I don't need the photos because I know exactly what it looks like in my brain. I've known women that had cars like that.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Let me explain. In this email, Yolanda says to her daughter, Bella, I just got your car back from the pond and I was looking for your purse as I stumbled on the most disastrous car I have ever seen in my entire life. Now I am really in tears and scared. Who are you? What were you thinking? You have turned into a spoiled, unthankful, unthoughtful, careless human being that is lucky to be alive. What an eye-opening experience to find beer cans, pink kitty bottles with vodka, bottles with Adderall, Vyvanse, rolling papers, a car full of dirty clothes, dirty underwear with blood stains, Tampax. I have honestly never seen anything like it. Was your life that terrible at home? I'm at a loss for words. You need to do serious soul searching, Bella, to see how you got where you are and get on your knees and thank God for still being alive. What have I done to deserve this? How are you going to survive? And she also said something which was very accidentally profound here. She said, if your car looks like the way you feel about yourself, you really need professional help.
Look, it's. I have a question first. Like, why do you think that this didn't get more traction when it first happened?
All those years ago?
Yeah, because this article's from a couple of years ago, right?
Well, I think it's because the Hadid sisters weren't as famous back then,
like
but Yolanda was famous for being on The Real Housewives at the time, and this was a huge plot point in the show.
Yolanda.
I have no idea how this email got leaked, but she said at the end of the email, I cleaned your car and destroyed all the evidence of the chaos you have created that I am ashamed of and truly hope to never see again.
So I had a friend who was a very neat person, and his girlfriend was the complete opposite. At least in the car, and their cars were just total polar opposites of each other. And I never really understood like whether that translated to the rest of their lives. But now that I think about it, it does, because for me, back before I got sober, the car that I had when I was in my early 20s was just, you know, full of skates and clothes and just stuff everywhere, right?
Was it like food?
There were bags,
like rotting food.
Maybe not rotting food, but empty wrappers and bags and stuff like that. And that corresponded with the chaos that I was experiencing in my general life. Now, you know, all these years later, I'm older. I'm hopefully what I would like to think of as at least a little bit more mature, sober, and more organized. As you said earlier, I like my space to look a particular way. My room and my car and, you know, where I live are all more of an echo of how I live now, right? Which is that things have their place. I put things back. I make the point, it's like, I'm a make my bed every day type of person.
You're a Jordan Peterson type of person.
I take Jordan Peterson to heart. So it's very likely true that her the rest of her life was just as chaotic. But if you had added a little bit of Prozac and Xanax, it would have just been a standard middle 20s white woman's car.
I really hope this is not the standard mid 20s white girl's car, because that's horrific to think about. But it's so true. I always bring this up, and I've probably brought this up on the show before, because we all have those TV shows that there's a certain scene that just burns into your neurons.
I have so many of them.
You have so many of them.
So many of them.
But this is the one for me. I watched almost, I think, every episode of Hoarders Buried Alive.
Oh gosh.
I know, that's crazy.
It's right up your alley.
I mean, I'm a trashy reality TV connoisseur of sorts, and this specific episode was one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. This woman hoarded actual like bottles and buckets and containers of her own fermenting urine and feces, as well as the urine and feces of her deceased mother in her home and around her home.
I'm just picturing, you know who the worst person in the world is? Whoever produced that show.
I know.
The producer of that show is just Satan.
Can you imagine? But at the same time, the production crew better be paid well, because that's disgusting. We have another 20 from Cassette. Brett's car was filled with all the white shirts he's worn once.
Unironically, the trunk, yes, full of them.
It got to this point with this woman where there were complaints from the neighbors to the local police because it smelled so foul, and it's literally a public health concern because she was letting it fester in her lawn. It was that extreme. And they were filming inside her home. You should look this up if you haven't seen it before.
And put that with the fact that it's like impossible to evict tenants.
Yeah.
Like that's a recipe for disaster.
We have another 20 from Weary Traveler. She would also transfer it from one bucket to another when it got full. Yes, and here's the craziest thing. She would intentionally touch it, and she would intentionally contaminate her food with it. She admitted this on the show, and they usually do this thing in the show where they bring in a mental health counselor of some sort, an expert, to try to get them some help, not just with cleaning their home, but their mind. And this psychologist walks in and she's like, you get a high off of contaminating your food with feces? I don't understand that. And this woman says, I will never forget this. She says in the most deadpan way, why the fuck does it matter? and she was like, I've been doing it for this long anyways. Why does it matter?
If anybody could play the Joker, it's that lady.
She was literally the female Joker in that moment. And I just always remember that because it's like, I guess it's quite profound. Why does it matter? If you kept it to yourself, and
no, I can tell you the actual answers because it's a health hazard to the other people.
Well,
in the
of course,
apartment.
but in my worldview, the answer is far different because if we are to go off of the basic liberal consensus that you should do whatever you want as long as it's not harming other people, she really shouldn't be stopped from destroying herself.
Well, they're
like
saying
this.
no. I guess the idea would be in some way, if you're taking the libertarian principle, is that by making other people's homes unlivable with the smell, she's violating the non-aggression principle in a way.
If she somehow contained the smell, if
Yeah.
she contained the health hazard that this was posing to the community, and it was just herself, and she was just contaminating her food with her and her own mother's feces and urine.
Why do you care so much?
Why do you care so much, essentially? And that's what really pisses me off. Now you can peer into the mind of Mary Morgan. This is why it pisses me off so much when people say, why do you care so much? Things matter. Yeah. And that's fucked up, and I'm going to talk about it.
Maybe you just put me into some type of weird trance with how gross that story was. Did you read the one from Weary Traveler?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right.
I'm assuming other people have seen this and they also remember it because it was one of the worst episodes they ever aired.
That producer was just in their glory.
Yeah. I think it came up on an episode of Joe Rogan not too long ago. So they were going through the clips and Rogan was like, what the fuck? Which is the only sane reaction to that.
All right. Well,
don't know how we got on
I'm going to just segue the hell out of there.
Yeah, we're going to segue the hell out of there.
Let's talk about the thing that seriously only Mary understands, and it's Chicken Shop Date.
Last week, we talked about the Chicken Shop Date episode coming up featuring Andrew Garfield. He is on the press circuit for his next movie coming out with Florence Pugh. It's called We Live in Time or something. Nobody really cares about the movie. Everyone was excited about this specific episode of the podcast because they have been shipping Andrew Garfield and this podcast host for years now. She does red carpet interviews, and they had a couple of chance encounters on the red carpet where people just thought they had an incredible chemistry, like to be remembered for the ages type of chemistry.
I saw none of this.
We showed the videos last week when this was going viral, and we're not going to show them again to you now, but that's the gist of it. And people were obsessed with this, and they thought when Andrew Garfield comes and appears on Chicken Shop Date, her podcast, this is the moment where they're finally going to get together and go on a real date, and they're going to get married, and they're going to have like 10 kids. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be everything we always hoped for.
That is exactly the type of weird shipping hysteria that the internet has descended into.
Shipping characters, still weird, not as weird as shipping real people.
Yes. Because
it's invasive, but they were playing into it.
The only thing worse than this was Johnny Depp and his lawyer.
Yeah, that was way weirder. Camille Vasquez.
Yes.
Yeah, but this, I mean, I can tell they were playing into the rumors on purpose for views, or it's either that or they really have feelings for each other, and possibly they could blossom into something.
I don't buy that for even a 10
or both.
Seconds.
Maybe it's for clout, and there's also a dimension of it that's real. We don't know.
Does she like astrology?
Yeah, they're both into astrology. Andrew Garfield is definitely an astrology guy. He's like a crystal chick in a man's body.
Okay.
So he's a crystal chick in a 41-year-old man's body.
So are we going to watch this clip here?
Yeah, let's take a look at one of their interactions she posted.
I think that there's something going on.
Do you actually think that? Or is this for the...
My theory is that he wore this shirt to subconsciously repel her.
Because it's so ugly.
Because it's so freaking ugly. That's just my personal opinion.
It's not a good shirt.
I do think it's interesting that
If this wasn't here, do you think we'd actually have it go on a date? Do you think this has fucked up the fact that we could have actually gone on a date at some point? Maybe.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, but like take out all the practicalities and the logic. I actually believe maybe we could have without all of this.
Yeah.
But it's this.
Because you're afraid of it.
I'm a very private person in my private life.
In my private life.
Yeah, go on. I'm more private than you.
Go on then.
Actually.
Tell me. Go on.
Have you ever seen me with anyone? No.
That doesn't mean that you're private. It just means you're not with anyone.
That was a low-key diss.
That was a neg right there.
I think that
So one thing I will say is watching the 11-minute clip of this felt like 30 for me because it's not something that I would ever watch. I literally every minute felt like 10 minutes. It felt like I was back in rehab and I was going through withdrawal again. But the point is that it does capture the awkwardness of what I imagine like a really, really middling first date would be if you didn't like the person, but you now realize that you're stuck there for the rest of the coffee or chicken or French fries. She has mastered the ability to eat half a French fry while talking, which is a skill set in her profession. I'm a guy. I don't get it. You got to explain it. There's a lot of guys in this chat.
Have you had first dates like that?
No.
No? Never?
Never.
Well, then I guess you wouldn't know how to spot it.
I guess. Like, it's like, no, just never.
You've only had successes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're the Riz Lord.
That's me.
Well, okay. Here's what I think. I think that Andrew Garfield is an actor, so he can simulate any type of reaction or emotion on the fly, in the moment, improv lines. He can employ the Riz, and it doesn't actually mean that he's interested in her.
Yeah.
I don't know if he seemed entirely interested in her in that clip either, but I think that he's totally faking it for the cameras.
Yeah, no, his looks more like a good actor who knows what he's doing. If me and Olivia had this type of interaction the first time we had met, oh boy,
it's just like
that's
nope.
the thing, luckily, for us, we had instant chemistry the moment we met. Like I said, if you want to weed out the bad apples, guys, send the girls memes of Stalin. That's what I did. I sent Olivia a meme about Joseph Stalin in famine.
That really separates the wheat from the chaff.
That's how you know.
That's
how you know that it's love.
Yeah.
That's how you find love right away.
There was another clip where Andrew Garfield legitimately asks her date questions, trying to get to know Amelia de Moldenberg.
So when this, again, you're going to have to inform me. In this show, normally, does the guy usually ask this many questions, or is it normally just her asking questions? Did he do the big Uno reverse and turn it around on her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he caught her off guard.
All right.
Do you want to be married? Do you want to have children? Do you want to, what are your ultimate longings? What is that a question? That's so sweet. Would you rather not? Are you going to cut all this out anyway because it's about you?
Yeah, probably.
But this is some bullshit. Come on, let this interview be what it is. This is a different vibe.
This is not an interview. It's not putting an interview. It's a date.
So this is a different style of date. There's more mutuality. Maybe.
I don't mind about being married, and I don't really mind about having kids.
You don't mind?
No.
But you do want a long-term partnership, a monogamous long-term partnership.
I do, yeah. But I also like my independence, and I also
I'm telling you, if Kate Winslet was a penne noodle. That's what she looks like.
Yeah, I see it.
Doesn't change
do
anything.
whatever I want and go
Separate
around.
bedrooms.
No, but yeah.
Who was the celebrity couple that we talked about that lived not just in separate bedrooms, but in separate houses that were next to each other and had an adjoining door?
Yeah, I forget.
Do you remember that?
Was, but yes. Yeah.
Basically, every celebrity has to be you know what the best way to fall in love, get married, and live happily together ever after? Just don't do it. Do everything but what's right.
I'm not entirely against the theory for everyone.
Yeah.
It might be beneficial to have separate beds.
Was it Gwyneth Paltrow? Somebody in the chat
might have been.
It might have been.
I don't know. We're going to need to dive into the archives again.
It's kind of crazy that
you feel obligated to share a bed with for the rest of your lives. Do you want to be?
So do you see it? Are you buying it? Are you bought in here?
I don't see it.
So that means that you don't think Andrew Garfield is a good actor.
You
don't see his acting skills.
No. What I see here is I can't divorce myself from the fact that he is an actor, so I don't buy any of this.
Okay. Yeah, you went in skeptical.
Yes.
I think the reactions that this chicken shop date has gotten online are merely a testament to his acting skills.
Yeah.
Because the responses from women were absolutely insane. One person said, "I can't believe the best rom-com of 2024 is an 11-minute promo interview between Amelia de Moldenberg and Andrew Garfield." Another one said, "They're soulmates." Another one.
Look, that is internet brain rot right there, okay?
This is either an absolute masterclass in acting or a public declaration of true love. There's no in between. Another one said, he's an actor. He's an actor. He's an actor. Like, they're really hoping that this was real chemistry on screen.
Look, in the longer form interview that I watched, like his laughter, if it was fake, it was some of the best fake awkward laughter I've ever heard.
They're kind of trying to do the whole fake, like, I hate you thing.
Yes.
Like, we hate each other. Ew. But she actually wants him to be into it, and I don't think that he is.
He's doing him, not to be judgmental here, but he should shave his beard.
Yeah, it's not a great beard.
I benefit heavily from having the beard. He does not.
He needs to get rid of it.
He needs to.
It's not a look.
He needs to get rid of it. It doesn't help him.
But, you know, I do think this is a white pill because everyone is saying this is better than a rom-com. That's true.
Well, it is true. Like, with rom-coms being in short supply, and the studio's not really wanting to greenlight them and give them great budgets unless you're Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell, women have to...
We're in a drought of love.
Women have already gone elsewhere. I think that's another reason why they're not viable is women have reality TV shows and
True
the Hallmark,
crime,
and they have the Hallmark channel.
Hallmark.
So those options are out there. Why would the studio spend money on those types of things at theaters?
Yeah, I also just see women still caring about romance when there's this awful trend of acting like I'm a bad bitch and I don't need no man and I don't need it's like that Miley Cyrus song where she's like, I can buy my own flowers. Like, but you don't want to buy your own flowers. You want a man to buy flowers for you. So stop capping like you're this independent boss bitch who doesn't need a man. Maybe you don't need a man, but you want a man.
Do you know why that music was created? I know the specific reason why that music was created.
In Miley Cyrus's situation?
Music like that. That exact type of music that you're talking about.
It's a cope, right?
What it is it's designed for women to listen to while driving in their Nissan Altima with the windows down while they get back from a dude who just broke up with them. On their way to a date as a form of cope. That's why those songs do not
exist. And the
exist.
Nissan Altima is just covered in trash.
Correct.
And dirty underwear.
She's either a nurse or she's either an RN or she's got 3 kids, Aiden, Braden, and Zayden. But the point is that music was not meant to be listened to at any other time other than when a woman is out driving to and from romantic pursuits.
We have a couple 20s. Brandon M said, holding my record of not missing an episode since 2022 when I found your show. I wouldn't know what to do with my workday without you guys. So glad the channel is growing and Tim made the right decision. PCC, not CCP forever. Thank you for being here and thank you for the support. Not missing an episode since 2022 is impressive. That's
what I've said since the beginning, guys, is like so many people in these spaces want to change the world. Bro, I just want to give you something to listen to while you're at work.
Yeah, it's awesome. We have another from DJ. He was the best Spider-Man, but you don't have a great beard. Well, I mean, he has his pick of the litter when it comes to girlfriends, but he doesn't make great choices because his last girlfriend was a witch and a seductress who uses her psychic powers to seduce men.
The funny thing is about Toby Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, when we were in Nashville for the Lady Ballers premiere in the hotel room, and at the mercy of cable television. And I hadn't seen...
You watched it with the motion smoothing on?
I hadn't seen The Amazing Spider-Man in years, and I had a lot of fun. Like, they were fine. Like, the second one was just crowded, just 90,000 characters. They should have saved Jamie Foxx for the next one, but they never got a third one, so...
Yeah.
All right. So yes, I think that women, without the romantic comedies to satiate them, they have found their entertainment elsewhere, and apparently that's Amelia de Moldenberg and Andrew Garfield fan fiction.
I kind of like it. I like that they're being honest.
All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Well, are we starting with Brainrot? I feel like we should start with Brainrot.
We'll start
every
with
day
Brainrot
now.
Okay. All right. We'll do Brainrot first. I warn you guys. Oh, wait. Hold, please. We can't do the Brainrot during this part, too, because the song is going to interrupt it.
Thank you.
Eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cat.
All right, so I was deciding which Brainrot to do today. I think I'm gonna do this one. It's a song. Yeah, it's not the one you're thinking of, but this one is different.
Here we go.
Everybody had a yacht, T-Y-A-T-T, and with that yacht he had to mew, T-Y-A-T-T, with a mew mew here and a mew mew there, here mew, there mew, everywhere a mew mew. Oh, Skibidi had a yacht, T-Y-A-T-T, oh, Skibidi had a yacht, T-Y-A-T-T.
There you have it. My timeline is a cesspool now, man.
I can tell.
Yep. You're welcome, everyone. They're saying make it stop. Well, that's why it's called Brainrot. It's the whole point.
Okay.
All right, cute or cringe?
Let's look at cute.
Cute? Okay, interrupt the two?
Some cute.
I can do that. All right, first things first. This one's from Matias Gomez. Says, my cat daughter through time. Cheers from Argentina.
Aw.
That is a cute cat.
Sipping the straw. That's
Very
cute.
cute. I thought it was multiple pictures. It's he made a collage.
Thank you for that.
All right. This one is from Sabine Figaro. It says, Brett and Mary for PCCQ of the day. I took Simba and my son to early vote in Virginia this morning. This is from back in on the 18th. Kid wasn't old enough to vote, but the dog was.
We love civic participation from our pets.
We love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the cringe then. You sent me this one just before. How does this one stack up compared to other cringes?
Actually, the Brainrot was worse.
Was worse? Okay.
But this is, can you read the caption on the video for us?
It says, dinner with a soft black man. What does that mean?
We'll find out.
Okay.
We'll just find.
Cook and you're just judging him?
I'm just waiting for the moment where him being black has anything to do with it.
What does that got to do with it? Bro can cook and you're just out here dunking on him?
Okay, but what does that have to do with
He is the prize.
him being black? I just don't understand. Is this going to be a trend now? Am I going to film myself cooking and be like, this is my soft white girl dinner?
Must be. Must be. All right.
I don't understand.
Let's go ahead. Let's just go ahead and get started then. We are 47 minutes. We're like right on classic timing right now. 47 minutes into the show. Let's get into all of the celebrities, all of the endorsements, all of the cringe.
Yes. So recently, the celebrity endorsements for Kamala Harris have just been rolling in like an avalanche. And this one that we're going to start with is especially interesting, perhaps worrying, because Usher came out in support of Kamala Harris. And if you don't recall, somewhat recently on the show, we discussed his refusal to endorse a political candidate in this election cycle. They tried to bait him into endorsing Kamala Harris when he recently appeared on The View. And he said that he didn't want any part of that and he was not planning to endorse anyone. So now we're wondering what changed his tune. And some people are speculating it has something to do with the impending release of the Diddy tapes.
This has become like a weird type of cope for everything everyone does now. Like, here's the thing. When a celebrity endorses Kamala Harris, they're probably just endorsing Kamala. They're artists. But
okay, here's the thing.
He's different.
The timing is really strange. It is really weird.
My point is that
you should raise an eyebrow here.
His makes sense because it was so recent that he made claims to the contrary.
Yes.
But everybody else, like, why would Eminem endorse Kamala Harris? I'm like, bro, he made a Trump diss track that was the cringiest thing I've ever seen. Like, this makes perfect sense. It doesn't have to have anything to do with the Diddy tapes. If anything, he made jokes about Diddy in a recent song.
But when we reacted to that clip of Usher's appearance on The View, I think what we said is good on him for deciding to not stick his neck out for a politician and focusing on what he does, which is the creative business. But he suddenly changed his mind. Who knows why, if there was some kind of payment issued to him for this. But let's take a look now.
I love you more, but I love Kamala Harris even more.
Usher's a menace. Doug, look out.
I want her to be our next president of the United States.
Doug Emhoff is seething right now.
And we can do it, but we're gonna do it together. One more time. We ready. Come on, Georgia. What? One more time. We. Hey.
Does anyone legitimately think this is cool?
Thank you so much. Vote early.
Bro's got it bad.
Let's do this.
That was good.
He's got it bad for Kamala Harris. And Doug's in the cuck chair.
You make me want to not vote Usher. That was also a song reference.
Yeah.
So that was awful.
Yeah.
There's got to be something unbelievably soul-sucking about doing that for any politician at all.
How do you not just feel gross afterwards, you know? Like you need to take an everything shower after you just said that.
Bro woke up and just put on a freaking bathrobe. And
Yeah, like what is this outfit too? So weird.
Like, it is true that there's memes that go around that say, why do all the Democrats look like Batman villains?
Yeah.
Bro does kind of look like a Batman villain.
Yeah.
You know?
It's giving Batman villain. We have another 20 from Nate. That was awesome, Mary. Got it bad. He does. Man. He's got it bad for Kamala. And then another celebrity endorsement came out. Lizzo appeared at a rally for Kamala in Detroit. She said, if Kamala Harris wins, the whole country will be like Detroit. I don't think that means what you think it means, Lizzo.
What? Like,
let's take a look at the clip.
It's 4 minutes long. Are we watching the whole thing? I'm not watching
just
4 minutes.
we'll watch the beginning of this.
So happy to be back in Detroit. You know, all the best things were made in Detroit. Coney Dogs, Fago, and Lizzo.
Oh, I did see that ICP, Insane Clown Posse, has endorsed Kamala Harris.
Oh, interesting.
I'm so proud to be from this city. You know, they say if Kamala wins, then the whole country will be like Detroit.
Okay, we'll stop it there. She's looking thinner. I'll give her that.
Sure, we'll give her that.
She's
White's
looking,
a flattering color on her. No, keep it going. Keep it going.
Proud like Detroit. Resilient like Detroit. We're talking about the same Detroit that innovated the auto industry and the music industry. So put some respect on Detroit's name.
Yeah.
Okay?
We definitely want the whole country to be proud and resilient like Detroit. Right, guys? Billie Eilish also came out in support of Kamala Harris. We talked about her video with her brother Phineas, where they were telling everyone to go out and vote for Kamala. And she hung out with Doug Emhoff and his daughter, Ella Emhoff.
Before we get there, I just want to point out there was also this video of Lizzo that's just, if you ever want to feel, realize how disconnected they are from the average person, it's them as they get on the private jet.
But look, at least this time, Lizzo isn't boarding her private jet with her ass out.
That is true.
Count your blessings.
She's got that going for her. Okay, so we've got Doug Emhoff.
Yeah, here's Billie Eilish hanging out with the Emhoff
Every
family.
hunter should be saying, "My culture is not your costume."
You can see in this video, she's wearing the camo hat, the infamous Harris Walls camo hat.
Hey everyone, second gentleman here. We've got to all get out there and make sure you're registered and make sure you're voting early for my wife and Kamala Harris for President of the United States.
You can go to iwillvote.com to check your polling place.
And make sure to vote early, like I will.
Get your vote in early and vote for
Kamala!
Did anyone managing this social media team think, maybe we should reshoot that? Like, the vibes were atrocious.
Actually, I kind of like it. It's
Do you?
They make it more awkward, just like that chicken shop date video, where it's like nobody can say their lines. You know what we need? We need the video like there is of the Costco guys, where the dad is directing the lines.
Yeah, they need the Costco dad to come in and help them with their delivery.
They need
awful.
They need AJ and Big Justice big time if they want to make this work. They don't have the social media presence. They don't have the Riz.
They don't have the star power. We have another 20 from Pat the Plumber. Gotta push back. I don't think there was anything soul-sucking for Hulk Hogan when he endorsed Trump.
Look,
how do you feel about that?
That's a personal preference to everyone because you like the candidate. But to me, it's just, All of it.
Do you kind of feel like they should just stay in their lane regardless?
Look, they're allowed to do whatever they want, right? They're allowed to to support whoever they want, but
your preference would be for them to shut up overall.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's a totally fine preference. Like, I understand.
I'm not saying that they can't do this. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with doing it. I'm saying that I would never do it because politicians suck.
Yeah.
And politics is awful.
And I normally wouldn't even mention one like this, but the caption on Julia Louis-Dreyfus's endorsement video was so bad.
Okay, actually, no,
I had to bring it up.
I'll push back a little bit because look, what you're looking at here is a bunch of establishment people who still believe they're the resistance supporting somebody who is an establishment candidate, whereas at least for the people that are, endorsing Donald Trump, Zachary Levi certainly spoke recently about the consequences of making that choice. There is an element of risk there that at least makes it less cringy for me.
Yeah.
Okay? All of these people, when they do it, when I look at Usher doing this, all I see is a dude who was probably offered a bunch of money to go out and do that. Whereas I don't know if I buy that from the other side. Maybe I'm wrong.
It seems more organic if a celebrity is coming out to support Trump, obviously, because they have less to benefit from it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Julia Louis-Dreyfus said, "I don't know about you, but I'd really like to get the government out of my effing snatch."
Okay, let's cut to the chase. Donald Trump and his merry band of yes men are obsessed with what we women do with our bodies. They want to reach into our doctor's offices and our bedrooms to control our access to birth control and IVF and, of course, abortion, even though they wouldn't know a uterus if they had to crawl out of one for a second time. Do you care about reproductive freedom? Kamala Harris will fight to win back our reproductive rights and sign into law the protections of Roe v. Wade. Do
they know that that's not how that works?
No.
iwillvote.com. Check your registration, make a plan, and vote for Kamala Harris on November 5th. Because I don't know about you, but I'd really like to get the government out of my snatch.
That's just so disgusting and vulgar.
Well, it's right in line with modern day Hollywood feminism.
I mean, yeah, it's just, you can obviously also tell that she's reading from a script. She wasn't looking at the camera for even a part of that video.
Yeah.
If you're listening rather than watching, you can tell when you watch it, she is reading off of a script or a teleprompter the same way that Hayley Williams of Paramore did. And you're an actress. Shouldn't you be able to deliver this in a more convincing way?
Yeah, give them more than one take.
But it's like you say, it's really gross when, and I am totally a hypocrite when I say this, it is really gross when women use language like that.
Yeah.
But especially if it's like they're talking about their own genitals, like just stop, like be a lady.
I can't actually put into words like where that threshold is, but when I start noticing an excess of swearing, it just feels very millennial try hard.
My only defense for myself in this regard is that when I curse, I'm doing so because I genuinely feel it, not because I wrote it into a script for a presidential endorsement. Another celebrity that came out in support of Kamala was Dave Bautista, and everyone is saying Dave Bautista got soyed. He's a total soy boy now. He's lost all of his muscles.
I will say, bro, nobody's saying that to his face.
When Hollywood has used you up and is done with your toxic masculinity and then instructs you to do their bidding in a feminine, friendly form.
He is pearl clutching.
Thank you. Yeah, he's literally wearing pearl necklaces now. And now this might be the worst of all. Remember when Eminem tried to sue Vivek for rapping Lose Yourself on the campaign trail?
I can't watch this whole video.
He issued a cease and desist letter to Vivek for rapping Lose Yourself, which personally I thought was cringe, but you can have your own opinion on that. Well, now Obama has performed Lose Yourself at another Kamala rally in Detroit. Let's take a look.
There's a 20 there before we do that.
Super Guy CRT said, "Congrats, Mary, on the promotion."
Did you get a promotion?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. We're just doing what we've always done.
All right.
Hello, Detroit! You fired up? Are you ready to go?
People jumping in the background.
Hey, I've got to say...
Hey, yo.
Let me just say... let me just say, I gotta say, you know, I have done a lot of rallies.
He is still 1,000 times more charismatic than anyone they have in their party currently.
We'll give him that, yeah.
So I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem. Now I notice my palms are sweaty.
Oh, God.
Knees weak. Arms are heavy. Vomit on my sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop
Can I
bombs,
stop?
but I keep on forgetting.
You suck.
Okay, we're done. No more of that.
We're done.
Yes.
We're done.
I can't. Again, it's all of this in service. This is my problem. All of these celebrities, all of these politicians, all of this money circulating through industries, not just the political sphere, but industries like Hollywood, which makes its way through taxpayer dollars to be used to bomb other countries, drain American resources, send jobs overseas, and generally suck the life force out of the American people. Any amount of theatrics in service of that will always be cringe.
Well, given all of these humiliating theatrics we just witnessed, I have a big question, and I don't know if either one of us has the answer. Do you think that Hollywood is beholden to politics or politics beholden to Hollywood?
I think that...
Where's the pressure coming from?
I think that there's no start and end point to that. I think it's all intertwined. At this point, Barack Obama has his own production company. Mm-hmm. He produces movies for Netflix. There is no... Hillary Clinton has her own production company, makes movies that end up on Hulu. There is almost no distinguishable difference between those two now. And since they, made adjustments to the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act, and they can now propagate propaganda to the American people through the CIA, which we know is heavily involved in Hollywood. It all starts and ends at the same place. It's all one big, disgusting, evil propaganda machine. They should all be ashamed of themselves, and it's disgusting. And that's why it's cringe.
Yeah. My best guess is that while a lot of these celebrities are doing it for a paycheck or they're doing it for PR reasons, a lot of them are just true believers in what they're saying because they're deranged. And it is a symbiotic relationship that we see here, and it's disgusting. Yep. Let's read some super chats.
With that being said, ha ha ha!
Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett and Mary, we love this show. It will be heartbroken if we can't watch. And by watching, we mean having the show on in the background. JK, LOL.
Exactly. We need some type of merch that bestows the beauty of this show not actually being watched.
I think the stealth hoodie is actually perfect for that.
We need something that's literally it's like PCC, but it's just one ear because you're only really listening in one ear.
That's fine. Yeah. We're happy to be your background noise. Shane H. Wilder said, I wore the hoodie to work. It's usually freezing. The air conditioner went out. So now I'm slowly melting as I sit next to AV and media servers.
Whew. That's rough, bro.
Well, you're still repping the brand, so we thank you for that. Yep. Flying Toast said Mary's non-binary joke on IRL was supreme.
What was it?
I think it went over people's heads. It was something that I would say on IRL, but not on here, which is funny to me.
Did you say r/whoosh afterwards when nobody got it?
This is someone else's words. Someone else came up with it, but they said if a man identifies as non-binary, he's a rapist. And if a woman identifies as non-binary, she was a victim of rape.
Nobody got it.
Maybe it went over their heads. I don't know. Red Snow said, just thought I'd let the chat know I got a new, couch? Is that what you meant?
Good for them. Look, I also want to point out, I just want to go back to my point a little bit about the politics. So The Undertaker had Trump on his show with Kane, obviously, who's the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. And look, that's great and all that. But even then, even if I like it, even if I like the show and even if I think it's cool, a little bit of me dies inside when I see it enter the realm of political discourse, when I'd rather just imagine The Undertaker as the pro wrestler talking about pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So even with people I agree, even with those that I would, fundamentally, agree with a lot of the politics on. In some ways, I don't know. I just, a certain part of me, like,
you see it as a corrupting influence, no matter where it comes from.
You don't need to do that, right? Like, you're successful. Your show is great, and it's going to divide your audience because there's going to be at least some weirdos who are going to look at it and be like, because that happens, and maybe that's just me. And I understand
at the end of the day, like, Trump is another one of these entertainers. Like, yes, he was a businessman, but he was an entertainer who did the opposite of what you're saying. He left his lane.
Yeah.
And he went heavy into politics and leaned into that.
Look, I understand.
And it turned out well for him. It paid off for him.
Yeah. I understand that Trump wrestled with them. Trump was actually in WWE's in the WWE Hall of Fame. So I understand the connection there, that it wasn't just a random appearance on a random podcast. If anything, I think the Theo Von stuff is the most random of all of it.
Yeah.
And probably the funniest.
Theo Von is such a star.
He really, what was the joke?
I think that for some reason,
what do you think about raisins?
Yeah, JD Vance asked Theo Von what he thinks about raisins because he said he wasn't a fan, and then Theo said, "I like a grape that's been through some."
Only a star comes up with that on the spot.
Yeah, Vance was like cracking up the whole time.
Let's do two more.
Greg Duvier said, "Put an Ian Crossland on." We would love to. Maybe you will ask him about Friday or one of these upcoming days. Javier Bernal said, yay, bread and marmalade won't go stale and moldy on the streets. Let's go. Also, why the hate on monarchy from Ian? To the gulag when Mary rules.
Wait, what? Ian doesn't like the monarchy?
Yeah, the monarchy of the UK was brought up on the show last night.
People weren't happy?
He came out swinging at the monarchy.
He wasn't playing around?
He hates the monarchy. He thinks they should turn into a corporation, actually.
Weird.
You'd have to ask him for his take. I'm not able to explain such nonsense. Greg Duvier said, also, if you do not put an Ian on, you need to talk about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Well, we have.
We've talked about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Like, that's one of those topics where
it's very niche in its own way.
It's niche in its own way, and there's so much lore and there's so much backstory to most of it that it's probably only really interesting to the people that go deep and cover that stuff
like
really
Andy
heavily.
Signor, for instance.
He likes to cover that stuff heavily. I like just going by the headlines.
Right. It is funny to watch from the outside. In fact, Ian was like singing the praises of Prince Harry, because he said that Prince Harry was like, by abdicating his royal status and moving to the United States, he was doing a form of protest against the monarchy. And I was like, dude, if anything, he's living under worse tyranny now under the rule of Meghan Markle. So he's not free. He's a prisoner in his own mind.
It's like, who do you want to be ruled by, the monarchy or Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and Meghan Markle?
I'll pick the monarchy any day. We have a 20 from number 1. Number 44, our first gay president campaigning for his 4th term. This world is getting nuttier than a squirrel's sack. Just waiting for the aliens to invade at this point. Cheers, champs.
I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I do advocate when things get that way in your head to take some time away from the screen and go out into the real world and just do something that, exercises the rest of your senses. I think that's too much time online makes the awfulness even worse. So for the sake of your own, sanity, get away from it a little bit. Mm-hmm. A lot of people seem to correlate consistent and constant, like, abuse of the news, like forcing yourself to be abused by bad news constantly as like your moral civic duty.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's necessarily true. At least I don't think it's necessarily in your own best interest to do it without finding a way to cope more.
But if it subtracts from your moral duty to the people around you, that's when it's overreaching.
Yeah. All right, let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after the fact. We're going to move on because we got to talk about what's going on over at Marvel. So it was announced, and I don't think this is to anyone's surprise, that the upcoming Marvel Blade film starring Mahershala Ali was put on indefinite hold. And I don't think that that's a surprise. This is the definition of what they call production hell when it comes to a movie. But this is what it says about the film. And what's weird about this, guys, is that Marvel is committed to this 3 films a year process, which they're going to be doing, which right now it's going to be Thunderbolts, Captain America, Brave New World, and it's going to be the next Fantastic Four movie, which I just realized was called Fantastic Four First Steps, which I personally hate, but
they keep abridging titles. I hate it.
It's better than Fan 4-6, so we'll continue. It says, this comic book empire's decision to take Blade off of the docket was widely expected after Disney CEO Bob Iger stated in an earnings call on May 7th that Marvel will release a maximum of 3 films a year. And the problem is this was the only one of all of those movies that wasn't even in production yet. Vera Dark had a very funny tweet about this. She says, 5 years since casting, let alone initially greenlit, 2 directors, 6 writers. It's been in development hell for a very long time. Once you get to this stage of a product's non-existence, maybe it's best to just give up. Some things shouldn't be made. Cough, cough. Joker 2.
Well, there's no release date because initially they intended to release it in November next year in 2025.
Yeah.
And now it's just been completely canned.
Yes.
It's nowhere to be seen. That's not to say it's totally dead, but it's basically, you can safely assume it's never going to get made. And some people are actually blaming this on racism. I was confused this morning when I saw that T'Challa was trending again.
Yep.
And the word Chadwick was trending again on X.
Yep.
Because I thought we'd already had this conversation before.
We have.
But people are saying that the real reason Blade is never going to see the screen is that they didn't recast T'Challa in the Wakanda Forever movies.
I do think, the more that I think about it now, so I actually talked last week about how I went on that whole rant about how great Civil War was. And what I realized when I watched that movie is that was the big debut of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. But in my opinion, now this is just my personal opinion, Chadwick Boseman's debut as Black Panther in that movie is infinitely more memorable to me. I think he embodied the role both as T'Challa and as the Black Panther, and it was a fantastic outing. And I think the first Black Panther is a fine film. I don't even really remember that. We reviewed the second one, and I don't even really remember that much of it, when the one that he wasn't in. But I do think that they did a disservice with all of the tools at their disposal story-wise to not recast him.
You're on the recast T'Challa team. You think they should have found a new Black Panther instead of giving it to Shuri.
Yeah.
It's just a weird take to me that they're not looking at the full context. One person said, I hope us Black people one day can be wise and mature enough to discuss and understand the implications of not recasting T'Challa. This is a larger conversation about Black protagonists in superhero movies and movies in general. And they're claiming that Blade was removed from Marvel's release slate because of the race of this protagonist, which is, I think, completely tone deaf. Even in Deadline's initial report about this, they said that development on Blade hit unavoidable delays with a global pandemic and dual industry strikes. The strikes are something that you wanted to cover here as well. They're talking about the lasting consequences of the strikes.
There was a really good article from a couple of days ago from Screen Daily where there was an interview with one of the Sony executives.
He's a CEO. He's stepping down.
He's stepping down next year, right? Yeah. So he goes into it and he basically says it right off the bat. He goes, look, we told you that the strikes were going to cause problems.
Yeah.
You wanted your deal. We gave you your deal. And he talks about how the tax incentives outside of the U.S. are just too lucrative and too good to make working here in the U.S.
Especially California,
a realistic endeavor, and that the New Deal was exactly what they wanted, but did exactly what the studio said was going to happen, which was to send a bulk of this work overseas. Like, this was already happening. Before the strike, movies like The Batman were filming in the UK. This has been going on for years. For everyone that watches a lot of TV knows that, Vancouver is where 90% of the television shows end up getting made, right? They ship everything over to
weirdly he didn't
Vancouver.
Mention Canada here, but
the reason for that is because of the strong industry culture of production out there because of tax incentives. And what I thought was funny about this, because we're also going to get into this list of Lionsgate movies that just underperformed this year. What was it? It was The Crow, Borderlands, 1992, Killer's Game, Megalopolis, which is not necessarily them because they just handled distribution.
Miller's Girl
was on that list as well.
Ortega.
But my point here is that, look, no actor bats an eye when they make this big movie and then it flops. They never take financial responsibility or any type of responsibility for an underperforming film that they're a part of. Yet they always get angry when the studio takes responsibility for its own financial future and says, look, this isn't going to work. We got to move. We have to do what's best for our business. And I find it unbelievably hypocritical on their part to constantly look. That's not to say that the studios are angels. Certainly they're out to make a profit and do what's best for their business. And in a lot of ways, the actors get screwed. But it would be a lot more endearing to the audience who's supposed to like your work if just once in a while you took responsibility for the fact that the stuff that's getting produced isn't resonating with audiences.
Well, it would be different if Mahershala Ali came out and said, hey, they're not going forward with Blade, even though I'm on board, because racism. It's not him who's saying that. It's tens of thousands of fans, though, because the discourse has just gotten that detached from reality.
He's always seemed to me, and I could be missing articles or something, like I maybe it's my own bias because I like him a lot as an actor, but seems like a consummate professional, always delivers a good performance. He's been acting for 25 years. He wasn't the person I thought of for Blade.
Who did you think of?
I just didn't. I didn't give thought. I'd rather they just get Wesley Snipes some TRT and get him on the juice and let him
de-aging maybe.
Let's not even de-age. Let's just bulk up. Get him on the Alan Ritchson workout regimen, and let's get Wesley Snipes back in there. But all of this is in lieu of the fact that we're going to see more than that. We're going to see mergers and consolidation down of brands and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And as these problems persist, it's really funny because they kept saying like, oh, the actors acted like this was the big winning moment for them. Like, we got the deal we wanted. And everybody with a brain who understands how these types of, I'm a dummy. I'm a dummy, but I understand that a business isn't in this to just break even. A lot of times we have that argument where people go back and forth. Do these companies want to make a profit, or do they want to just disseminate what people call the message? Well, I think the truth is that it's a lot more complicated than that, and that it's something closer to the middle. But these companies have to still find a way to fiscally move forward.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to find a way to both disseminate the message and do it for cheaper. And the way to do that is to move production overseas, not just studio space, but acting overseas, animation getting moved over there.
But it just shows that the SAG union and the writers union that were striking last year had no foresight, and they were being really just performative in their activism, as they usually are, because they led to consequences they didn't foresee for all of these actors and writers who can't get work unless they're in the very top echelon. And it's not just that Hollywood studios don't want to produce films in America or specifically California anymore. Even the stars themselves don't want to live in California anymore. Yeah, like, they're leaving.
Glenn Powell's like, I'm out of here. Matthew McConaughey,
like,
I'm out of here.
I made myself get to the point where I can get work no matter where I live. I'm leaving California as soon as humanly possible.
So here was a list of these Lionsgate movies that bombed, some of them worse than others. Mm-hmm. What I find funny is that what you see here is that the best investments were the smallest amount of money, was the smaller amounts of money put forward. So Miller's Girl, which was Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman, was made for $4 million, but only made $1,700,000 at the box office. Wah, wah, wah. Ordinary Angels, that was the one with Alan Ritchson that we I think we ended up having to see something else the same week, but that cost about $13 million to make, but made about $20 million. Again, that's not going to turn a profit at all, not when you have to split, half of that with the theaters, so it lost money. Imaginary, made for $13 million.
Never heard of that one.
Brought in $43 million. So again, if it's a profit, it's a very, very small one, especially if it's a small marketing budget.
Yeah.
The biggest, if you
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was made on $60 million, and it only made 26.
I loved it. I had so much fun at that movie. Made nothing back.
Why exactly? Why?
I don't know if they just had no faith in the marketing of the film. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. Usually you can advertise on him alone, but it's not like it was just a Guy Ritchie movie. This was Henry Cavill. This was Alan Ritchson. This were big actors at the moment. And you look at
The Crow, much deserved bomb for the Crow reboot.
Borderlands is worse. $120 million budget, made $32 million at the box office.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff, and it comes off of a year before, which had was a good year for them. Saw X, John Wick 4, The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which Mary and me actually liked.
Controversial, given that Rachel Zegler is the star of it. Yeah.
They are kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off in this industry right now. And there's all of this uncertainty, and I don't see it getting better. I see more and more of this. Look, the streaming services aren't even sustaining right now. Netflix rules with an iron fist in the streaming domain. The only show that seems to be popping right now that's not reality TV or something like that is The Penguin, which is doing great numbers and is consistently at the top of the Samba TV charts. But everything else is like Netflix, one Hulu show, Netflix. Everybody else is consolidating and making packages together, so you're just getting cable 2.0. Something else he talks about in that article was that Sony sold off most of its cable streaming stations due to restructuring before. It's a mess for all of them, and I just find it annoying that the actors want the studios to acquiesce, but they don't want to don't understand that they have to also take responsibility when the projects they're a part of don't do well.
To pull it back to Marvel, last night, Tim was talking about this headline that came out, and I know we covered it. I just don't remember what we said about it. Kevin Feige fired all of the activists in Marvel, in Marvel Studios, because he realized that, all of their movies were bombing, and he was responsible for such great successes before, and then all of the Marvel movies started underperforming massively. So he decided he was going to go through and clean house and get rid of all of these SJW activists.
From what everyone I've ever read is that Kevin Feige always envisioned Marvel the way that it was in Phase 4. And that he saw the predominantly straight white male characters as a stepping stone to build up a world where those characters could flourish. The problem is he built up that world and then picked these other characters, fine, but the movies they were in were bad. Eternals was bad. It was boring. I can't stress you enough. Any Marvel movie for me most of the time, I can just...
It'll do.
I'll be like, Mary will hate it. I'll be like, look, some stuff happened. Some stuff blew up. There was a sky beam. Call me crazy, but I'm fine with it. Eternals was awful. It had I watched a whole movie where Angelina Jolie at mid-50s put on a clinic on what actual charisma is on screen, while all of these other actors just kind of look like they'd never done a job a day in their life.
And was received so poorly by critics and audience alike that Kumail Nanjiani literally had to submit himself into therapy afterwards.
What's funny is they were talking about why was Druig mind controlled a bunch of people in Eternals. Why does nobody care about that, but they care about Wanda doing it in WandaVision? Misogyny. I'm like, not misogyny. Nobody watched your movie and nobody cares about your movie. Okay,
they don't even care enough to be mad about it anymore. But is that headline true, or was that just totally clickbait rumor stuff? I mean, that Kevin Feige went through Marvel and fired all of the activists.
You know what it's like. We'll never know for sure.
Because if he did, I guess the results wouldn't show yet, because it would only show a few years down the line.
2 years, before we would know whether that was even true or not. And here's the problem. That's why Captain America: Brave New World has gone through endless reshoots and is one of the most expensive movies ever made now.
Yeah, they have a tough role to fill.
Look, I saw that trailer and I'm like, White House gets blown up with the... sign me up. Like, if they can make Captain... Like, when we talked about this on Salty Nerd, everyone's like, yeah, like, a lot of people are like, yeah, the movie's probably going to be bad. Marvel kind of sucks. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe... Could be good. I'm like, if they stay away from the
contrarian.
I'm like, look, if they can stay... This is why television is worse, right? Falcon and the Winter Soldier gets into racial politic. If they can stay away from the racial politics and just show me cool scenes where Cap and Red Hulk are together fighting and the White House blowing up and Giancarlo Esposito says cool things while being a bad guy.
And Captain America's fighting the deep state.
In Sabra, whatever. They can do it. Just make stuff blow up. Give me a sky beam. I'll be fine.
I'm not sure that's quite enough, but...
For me, it is.
Yeah, for you it is.
All right, so let's do some super chats.
T-Bone said, welcome back, Mary and Brett. Happy to see y'all are still here. Mary, you need to go on IRL more. It was amazing last night. Super based. Long live PCC. Well, I'm glad someone, at least one person, appreciated my snide off-color jokes. Red Snow said, PCC for life. Been here since about 1:30-ish.
Let's go.
Damn, that's a long time. Thank you for sticking with us.
Bro, I've barely been here since 1:30, and I've been here since
I'm not even here right now.
I'm not even here right now.
Mentally,
I'm here.
Shane H. Wilder said, cast the burger in resin, plate the fries in gold, frame the bag, and put it all in a shadow box. Then I can take out the burger 50 years later, and it'll be my last meal.
Let's do two
Quiet Inari said, Mary, eBay currently has leftover fries given out by Trump in PA. Price is $120 right now.
How do you even confirm that?
Yeah, that's totally, you can't trust it. How do they have receipts? Like, you can't prove it. So, I don't know, man. Nate said, I really hope you guys go independent.
He also tweeted under that, he says, feel free to skip that, but I wanted to know. Well, we're still here.
Well, that's not in the plans for this show right now. Davius L said, Mary, was that shirt inspired by Phil Labonte?
Mary wore that shirt before Phil ever wore
I wore striped shirts before Phil made it cool. But his shirt is really the best.
They had a whole discussion one day before the show about expensive shirts.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I was like, how did this come up on IRL? We were just talking about how great your shirts are.
Apparently, Phil also thinks about fashion and death.
He does. Maybe just fashion. I don't know. Cubano 1986 said, Mary, 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 why do you always refuse to read my super chats? What are you so afraid of?
Well, she just read it.
I think I read your super chats unless you're sending me something
untoward
and uncouth.
Let's hold off on the rest. It's time to talk about Elvira.
Yes. So recently, Ariana Grande got in a massive firestorm on Twitter because Elvira came out and accused her of being disrespectful in an interaction they had years ago. Here, Elvira says she had a not so great encounter with Ariana Grande when Ariana came to see one of her shows. Now, it's not just that. Ariana Grande didn't just show up to an Elvira show. What she did was massively entitled.
What did she do?
Ariana Grande asked Elvira's team for 21 free tickets to see Elvira, individual meet and greets included, and then Grande herself declined to take a photo with Elvira or even meet her. That's crazy. That is crazy behavior. You can't do that. You're literally stealing someone's money. So let's take a look at the video of Elvira telling the story from her own perspective after this crisis party is done.
Hold, please.
Thank you, guys. What is that, 5? Thank you.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's go to this clip here.
I'll tell you briefly why she went. Okay, she came and she brought 20 guests. She wanted 21 tickets. We're like, okay. And we give her the tickets, and she goes backstage, and she asked if I could take pictures with all of her friends and relatives she brought. I take a picture with every single one of them. I sign autographs for every single one of them. Then I say to her, could we take a photo together? She goes, no, I don't really do that. mean, come on, okay? And then she left before my show started.
Yeah, what's that?
It's very feminine to like to hold on to this though.
And she took off. Okay.
I mean, she's at least kind of she's not saying this in like a really like angry way.
No. The wrong witch. But she is airing the dirty laundry.
73, they're saying she is in the chat.
Is she now?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but
fact check us on that.
A lot of the Gen Zers reacting to this situation were like, "Who's Elvira?"
Well, yeah.
And why does she feel disrespected by my idol Ariana Grande?
She's allowed to act however she wants. She's Ariana Grande.
So, how do you feel about that? Do you think Elvira was in the wrong for airing the dirty laundry, putting Ariana on blast?
I would never have done that. Because the way I always imagine it is like, as wild as that story is, she probably has infinitely more wild stories about other people that are positive. So I feel like they even themselves out, and airing it just feels like it does everyone a disservice. Because to me, it makes her look petty, and I don't know. It's as a guy, I would never do that.
Well, if you think that's petty, just get ready for Ariana Grande's response.
We've got it right here.
Here it is. Ariana Grande commented this on Instagram. I actually don't even remember getting the chance to meet you because I had an anxiety attack, and to my memory, I left before the rest of my family. This was around 7 years ago, and at the time, I was really not that great being in public with crowds or loud places. But if I'm misremembering this moment, I sincerely apologize for offending you so.
Did she invoke her, like, because she was like, was this when people were talking about her being part of a terrorist attack?
She also said, "Thank you for being so nice to my mom. She told me how lovely you were. She might have different feelings about that now, but I'll talk to her. Clearly, we all have our days. Sending love always. You'll always be our queen of Halloween."
Again, see, this is something best handled, say it with me, folks, in the DMs, on the phone, in text message, not for public consumption.
But that's the thing, is I think Elvira just thought it was funny.
Somebody in the chat said Brett always making himself sound like a beta because of how I said I would respond to that. No, passive aggressive is the beta move here.
Yeah, this was super passive aggressive on Ariana Grande's part.
Yeah.
And also, she's trying to garner sympathy instead of answering for her part in the situation. So I saw a lot of takes. Some people were saying, like some of the Ariana Grande stans were saying, friendly reminder that mentally ill people don't owe you shit. And that basically means when they say that mentally ill people, meaning if you have anxiety or depression, you can just be rude to whoever you want at any moment.
That is actually how people see things.
They actually think it's an excuse for all of your behavior.
This is one of those things, which is why therapy speak is the way it is right now. I think I sent you a video the other week. It says like POV, you're mean to everyone you know, but it's okay because therapy speak. And it's like, oh, my father died. Can you come to his funeral? I would, but I can't. And then just explains why she can't come to the funeral in therapy speak.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is now. It's you're not autistic. You're just a dickhead.
Yeah, but it doesn't excuse you from having to explain your intentions and your actions. It doesn't give you an excuse. It gives you an explanation. We have a 20 from Stone Sting. One of these days I'll be able to watch live, but I'm very happy to see my favorite Ghost Girl and my fourth favorite Brett behind Hart, Michaels, and Cooper aren't going to be leaving me bored at work. Well, thank you for watching, even if you can't make it live.
I think you spelled Brett right for Bret Hart, but wrong for Michaels, Cooper, and myself.
Yes. That's very offensive
or
to the Brett community.
Actually, I don't know. Is Bret Hart with one T or two T's?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Anyways, the point is that people really do believe that by identifying and giving some type of psychological or medicalized term to their behavior, it excuses it. No, you still have to live in the real world and behave like an adult.
Well, a lot of people were pointing out this was shortly after Ariana Grande and her fans were the victim of a terrorist attack in Manchester at one of her concerts. There was a bomb that went off. Some of her very young fans died and got injured. And that's obviously a terrible thing and super tragic. I would totally understand why she would be hesitant to go out in public after that, why she would be affected mentally by that situation. Absolutely. But when you ask someone for a favor like this and make them do labor for you and your friends and your family members, literally, and then she asks you after all of that meet and greet nonsense, hey, do you want to take a picture? If you don't want to take a picture, that's fine. But you need to say, I'd rather not because, for instance, I don't want people to know my location.
Yeah.
Or I don't want them to be tracking where I'm going or where my family or friends are going. Or you could say, I'm just trying to keep my whereabouts private right now. Yeah. Or I'm just not really feeling it, but thank you so much for doing me this massive favor. For gifting me all of these free tickets and meet and greets.
Yeah.
But you don't just say, no, I'll be going now, and then not even stay for the concert that she gave you free tickets to see.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And mental illness doesn't just mean you get to be rude and inconsiderate to people.
Well, that's what it does mean now.
Apparently it does now.
In the modern world, that's exactly what it means now. It means you get to just abdicate your responsibility and do whatever you want as long as you can give some type of coherent answer as to why you behave that way.
Honestly, she didn't really even give a coherent answer here. It was just passive aggressive bullshit where she was trying to act like, ooh, woo, like I just have anxiety. Like I just get nervous
also
around people, even though I'm a multi-millionaire, massive celebrity who performs in front of thousands of people. I'm shy.
Also,
what is that?
Like, do this in private. Send this message in private.
You think Elvira
has the DMs open? I have no idea.
Has the DMs open? I don't know.
I am sure she could get a hold of a business manager in an email.
But I bet Ariana probably felt, well, if Elvira already made this public, I'm going to respond.
Yes, and that way it's true that
responding in kind.
She's responding in the same way that this happened. But that's what I'm saying is like if I was, you asked in the first place, said, would you have done this? I wouldn't have done what Elvira did, and I wouldn't have done what Ariana Grande did. But maybe this is just how it works when you make your living by being a public figure and being a point of public interest.
Here were a few of the responses I looked at. One said, bad behavior cannot always be masked with mental health issues. Accept your mistake, STFU, and move on with a changed attitude. So convenient to use mental health as an excuse nowadays. It is actually sick. Another one said, I love that Ariana's true colors are finally being shown to the world. What a messy and disingenuous cop-out that is to blame your bratty diva behavior on mental health. Why would Elvira lie about this? The woman is hardly in the public eye, yet it's you that denied her a selfie. Another one said, need socially inept children on the internet to realize feeling anxious internally doesn't actually change the impact rude behavior has on other people. She could have paid for her family to meet Elvira like a normal person. She certainly had the money to, if she's so terrified of interpersonal interaction.
I just think it's one of those things where with these celebrities, it's good for both personalities in general. They benefit from this stuff being in the news, so I take it with a grain of salt.
Oh, definitely.
Like is whatever we have to say about their behavior, like whether we're judging it on its moral basis, it doesn't matter because all of this is a dog and pony show anyways. It's all bread and circuses.
Well, I think it says something about the way that these Zoomers feel about social interaction. We should not be listening to Gen Z about what ought to be normal in social interactions because they don't know how to socially interact. Nope. They've completely lost the ability. Like, I think it's funny because Gen Z places the strongest emphasis on empathy being important in the workplace, in all facets of life. And yet they seem to have the least empathy of any generation I've seen. They don't have a theory of mind for the other person. They don't believe that other people have interior lives or have their own feelings. They think they have a very solipsistic worldview where everything revolves around me and my anxiety attack right now.
Empathy only matters when it's empathy towards them rather than empathy towards others.
That's not what empathy is. Someone needs to teach them. That's not actually the definition of that word. That's not what that means.
If you go back to what you said about mental health not being an excuse, there's a reason why mental health is used as an excuse in those situations. It's because it's the framework for it's a cudgel, it's a weapon. You can't say I'm wrong. It's a mental health argument. You wouldn't be empathetic if you didn't allow me to treat you like dog shit because of my mental health problems.
Look, it obviously could have been worse. Like, all she did was say that she didn't want to take a photo. But I feel like you could have mitigated the situation by saying, no, I'd rather not take a photo. It's just because I'm feeling really anxious right now, and move on. Yeah. But you didn't even explain why. Yeah. You just expected someone to understand telepathically, or you didn't think about what the other person's reaction would be at all because it's solipsistic, once again. It's very childish behavior.
I don't know what
by the way, already 7 years ago, Ariana Grande was unbelievably rich. I don't understand why she would be asking for a favor like this anyway. Yeah. You can buy the tickets for all these people you love to go meet Elvira if that's what their dream is. Go pay for it yourself. Yeah. You don't need to ask for a favor and then treat the person who gave you the favor like trash.
Well, in a way, it's probably narcissism, right? Like they don't believe that they should have to pay.
Like, oh, I deserve this because I'm a star. Yeah. It's such a bad look. It's such a bad look. And I hate this little like wounded puppy thing that people do when they're in the wrong and they want to twist the narrative to come out like the victim. Like, oh, I'm just like a small, like shy little celebrity. I'm not like the other celebrities. I can't deal with people. Ooh, I get shy. Like, that's so fake. Yeah. It's so funny. Yep. Pisses me off. Okay, let's finish up our super chats. Ghost Soup said, glad you're sticking around. I understand my Gen Z kids a little better because of this show. Thank you for that. Smiley face. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching. I'm glad that we're helping parents and their Gen Z children connect. Red Snow said, favorite chocolate bar? I'm a Snickers guy myself.
Did you see the joke about
what?
White guys for Harris eat Snickers bars upside down?
No.
Go on.
But what was your answer to the question?
Do I have a favorite do you have a favorite candy bar?
I always go for ice cream, to be honest.
I don't eat
Kit Kat. Probably Kit Kat.
Reese's Pieces cups.
Does that count? That's not.
It's not a bar, but it's chocolate.
Kit Kat. Kara McLean said, I've listened to every episode since spring 2022. The scare of the possibility of having to find new background noise was terrifying.
We need a shirt. You know what? We're
going to have like a PTSD support group for the crisis actors.
I decided what I want for merch. I want a logo shirt that's like the entire print is just TV static. Like white noise.
The whole thing.
Just a whole shirt that, because it would look.
It might not translate on fabric. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would look.
If it could be done right, it could be cool.
Or
if
maybe
it was fine enough. It would. We wouldn't be able to do it through Teespring. We'd have to do something with a manufacturer.
Like pajama pants, and it's just a print of like the TV logo, like stacked. I think that would be cool. Shane H. Wilder said, Mary, always carry a few ones on you. I do mainly for votive candles when I go to adoration. A small amount of case can come in handy sometimes. Wait, what?
Cash, I think.
Oh, cash. Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I usually don't. I should, but I don't.
For the homeless.
Yeah, well, I actually cash apped someone who asked me for money, which was crazy.
Mary used to dunk on me.
I wasn't dunking.
Mary would dunk on me in the
dunking.
past because I will freely give money to the homeless and.
But I ask you why you do it, and you're like, I don't know, and I'm like, you should know why you're doing it.
I do.
That was the confusing part.
It wasn't that I don't know why I'm doing it, and the point is that I do it with no illusions about what it's being used for. Because in my mind, it's, first of all, when most people do these things, you don't think about that person twice. A lot of times it's more for your own edification. You're like, I feel better about myself having done that. But
I felt worse, actually.
If I have to choose between giving $5 to a homeless person who may or may not use it for alcohol or something like that, or giving $5 to some shady charity that puts the money in the pocket of some coke snorting executive so they can go on some type of weird corporate retreat to some rich resort, I'll give it to the homeless guy every time. I'll stay down there with the common man.
It isn't a black and white issue. It's not an either or.
Yeah.
You can do both. You can do neither. But yeah, in that moment, I just thought, like, I feel like if it's not cash that I'm giving you, it's harder to spend it on drugs, right? So
not really.
No?
No.
I don't even know what, like, I probably should have just kept to myself, but yeah.
It's a story.
You laughed
to tell.
at that.
Well, yeah, because it just seems so out of character for you. I thought you were punking me at
No,
first.
I felt worse after.
I thought there was like cameras hidden here.
I didn't have that feeling that I'm going to pat myself on the back now. I felt like you just got duped. Shadow Zero said, I think you guys should start dual streaming to Twitch. If Kirsch can do it, hell, if the Whatever podcast can do it, I think you guys can do it too.
At the very least, I do need to figure out streaming to Twitter.
Yeah, I'd much rather simulcast to X than Twitch. I don't want to be part of the Twitch ecosystem, but anything's possible. Zach Yandel said, everyone is leaving Twix. We gonna talk about it? Is everyone leaving Twix? Since when? And why?
Is that happening?
I was only aware that Tim said he was not gonna use it anymore.
I'm not controversial enough to have like perma haters, so
is it that?
Like, is anybody gonna follow me to read my reviews of murder, to hate on my reviews of Murder in a Small Town? I don't think so.
I don't tweet much, but I'm not leaving Twitter. Corey Anderson, I think that sounds sussy, so I'm not going to read it. Shane H. Wilder said, I can't have a messy car. If mud gets in when it rains, I have to clean the carpets. Bella's car is a biohazard.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds dangerous. I hope she's cleaned up her act.
I did see that Asmongold cleaned his car, or his room.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because he's so rich, he could just pay people to clean everything for him.
It says more about, like, your personality, I guess. Like, the money doesn't change your personality.
It's like, how much do you care about living in a pigsty?
Well, to me, what's crazy about that is the idea that you can be both financially very successful and powerful as a professional and still live in just absolute just hell.
I said, like, generally, if someone is fat, it's because that person is okay with being fat. And I think the same thing goes for living in, like, disgusting filth.
I think it's the idea that they've reached a level that they're comfortable with until they eventually they will have to hit a point where
I don't think they're happy with it, but you're okay with it. Yeah. Cassette said, how about a holographic shirt/sweater, a giant TV with the PCC logo that when it's viewed from either side turns to static?
That is so 80s. I love it.
That'd be interesting. I like the idea.
I just had a flashback to when I was a very little kid and I had a Mickey Mouse shirt that was holographic.
I had those cups. Yeah. Sometimes they would come with, like, McDonald's toys, right?
Yeah.
You'd have a cup that was holographic. Yeah. Corey Anderson said, what is all the chatter about Hannah Claire? Well, I know Tim answered this question last night on IRL, so maybe you should refer to that. But as far as I know, she is not going to be on IRL anymore. Potatoes for Seamus said, it's a rainy day, Brett can't go out and skate, so he grabs Mocha and a bucket of popcorn and watches First Kid in Blank Check and says, life is good.
My new favorite trend, not to pivot here, is how in the Brainrot world, it's all about Lunchly, Prime, and Talktua. So there's this whole meta based around, it's the idea, it's like, it's 11 at night, you've got a Lunchly, a Prime energy drink, and Talktua's on the TV. Life couldn't be worse.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And the new one is like, the the perfect first date doesn't exist, and a girl just bursts into your room with a Prime energy drink and in a lunchly and puts on Taktua, and they sit there and they're basically like dumping Prime on themselves while they're watching Taktua.
Is the joke that it sucks?
Yes.
Like that's the punchline, is that it sucks.
That it's slop, and that it's literally like...
Just checking.
It's brain rot like the meta is brain rot.
Mothman's accountant said, Mary, I need to hear your thoughts on this season of 90 Day Fiancé. It's insane. Also, Brett, can you give a Chosen update? Do you have a Chosen update?
Actually, guys, I have sad news.
What?
I have actually canceled my HBO Max and my Peacock subscriptions to limit my
screen time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to restart it and find up where I left off, because I believe it's also on Amazon Prime, which I still have.
Yeah, it's not just on any one streaming service. I'm pretty sure it's on their own platform as well.
Yeah, but unless they have an actual like app that I can watch,
I think
on
they might.
On a TV. Like,
I think they might.
I'll find it on Prime and have to pick back up where I left off. I think I'm 6 episodes in, but I enjoyed it so much. But it's also one of those things that Olivia, like I started it before Olivia could see it, so then I feel bad like making her.
You have to restart it.
Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe I'll restart. We'll restart it and we'll watch it together.
You're like watching The Chosen. You're like, there's not enough explosions.
Unironically, kinda like
bro.
I want to see the alt history version where it just turns into him. And I know that this is like an inside joke.
It's 33 AD.
Bro,
there aren't any explosions.
No, but see, the thing is, they're so good that they made like him like making fish appear in a net look cinematic and awesome.
Yeah.
So that was great. We did, however, restart Chuck last night, which I've watched thousands of times, but Zachary Levi obviously had his big the thing he did the other day. I think Tim reported on it, talking about bias in Hollywood, and rewatching it. It really is one of the most based shows you're ever going to see, given that Colonel Casey is in fact a Reaganite who loves America more than anything, and it's great. You should watch it.
And as for 90 Day Fiancé, I'm sorry to say I have not been keeping up with the recent season. Evan Perry said, Brett's not wrong about that Stalin thing. I made a joke about Stalin and then had to explain who he was, and it helped me determine that she was not the one.
Well, I mean, it's better than her saying Stalin did nothing. It's better than her saying that, like, it wasn't a problem, right?
Wait, is it a red flag if she doesn't know who Stalin is?
Not, I don't think it's necessarily a red flag that she doesn't know who Stalin is. Her saying, like, Stalin, her being a communist would be a bigger problem.
Yeah, I mean, she's not going to be, like, a history bro.
Yeah. Not a good idea. There was a scene we finished Warehouse 13. I'd seen Warehouse 13 all the way through, but there's this great scene in one of the last episodes where they have Joseph Stalin's sleep mask, which is a magical sleep mask that is the only thing that allowed him to sleep despite the fact that everyone was dying of hunger. And when they put it and when somebody puts it on, a big hammer and sickle appears on their body. It was really funny.
It doesn't sound funny, but maybe
it's in the show. It's done
different.
It's different.
Okay, the next one was That Stanzatastic. Who knew Brett could find brain rot that somehow is worse than Mary's choice in Cringe? I'm not going to read the last part.
Don't worry, because the one for tomorrow I think will actually be catchy and get stuck in your head.
I thought so. Yeah, it was a bop. Crystal Roller said, I just wanted to hear the song again. No one eats cats in my house. Well, maybe we can hear the song again.
Well, if we get to the 6th crisis party, you will be able to hear the song again.
Goofer Trooper said, eating ribs and watching PCC. Let's go. What's better than this?
Like, seriously.
Life is
good.
Couldn't be better. Pop Culture Junkie said, after today's brain rot, my IQ dropped 20 points.
I showed Mary one that was infinitely worse before the show.
We're going to show that, right?
Yeah.
This week? Yeah. We need to. Kratos Raptor 85 said they just want the black vote, referring to maybe Obama.
Well, here's the thing.
When Obama is like, hey, yo, like, I'm just like, stop.
Pragmatically, I say it's our job as people, as the citizens, to understand that everything is some type of ploy to get a vote. So you shouldn't be shocked by that. When they go after the black vote, or they go after the suburban mom vote, or they go, or gosh forbid, you have white dudes for Harris,
Swifties for Kamala.
Yeah, or even Swifties for Trump, right? You're going after a voting block. That's cringe, but it's also the process as it happens to be. It's your job to make it not cringe by not letting it affect you. Don't let their propaganda affect you.
Shane H. Wilder said the streets will be on fire like Detroit. How exciting, Lizzo. Javier Bernal said Lizzo threatened us all on Kamala's behalf. It seriously sounded like a threat.
Yeah. Sadly.
Professor Freakout said her body, my choice.
That was in relation to the Julia Louis-Dreyfus thing.
High Voltage 75 said they're targeting a demographic that already supports them. Not a good way to win swing voters. The demographic being women.
I mean, I thought it was weird that Trump went to California, but I'm not a political advisor, so I'm sure that his, the people behind the campaigns have some logic for why they're doing it. There's smart, if not evil, people running politics, so I assume there is some logic behind the choices that they make. Even if it's evil logic.
Soapy Enigma said, how about you stop sleeping around, get all the dudes out of your snatch?
You should tell her that.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Shane H. Wilder said, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, you're 63, no one cares. Is she actually?
Yeah.
She's actually 63?
She's probably in her 60s, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, she does look great for 63. I'll give her that.
I wonder if she dances as bad as Elaine danced on Seinfeld.
It was all real.
Actually, I'm going to give her some credit. It could have been worse. She could have done a bad dancing skit.
Well, they already did that awful SNL skit with Kamala. I don't want to see that again. Pat the Plumber said, I like Big Dave, but he's been soy for a while. Dave Bautista, not our Big Dave. Watch his episode of Running Wild with Bear Grylls, and no, I'm not saying that to his face. So I guess Bear Grylls was totally mogging Dave Bautista.
What's funny
his survival skills.
I don't actually hate Dave Bautista as an actor. I think he's fine as an actor. He's just,
I don't mind him.
He's not the Bautista of WWE.
Surinko Productions said, I'm sure Obama was feeling some type of way coming after Eminem, considering they're both gay. LOL.
Okay, I don't know about all that. I do know that it's disingenuous to say that you feel some type of way when these are the people you interact with every day. This isn't some dude you finally got a chance to meet Eminem, and Eminem did you miss me with this lie.
You're Obama? Lies. You've literally met every celebrity. Corey Anderson said, speaking of Snatch, what a great movie.
Been a long time. I need to rewatch that, and I need to rewatch Crank.
Lindsay Stiltner said, Mary had me cracking up last night.
There you go.
Wow. A woman can be funny.
You're the comedy.
I'm breaking
I was about to
ceilings.
say you're the comedy guy, but you're the comedy girl.
Mm-hmm. Red Snow said, a new PS5 controller, not a couch.
Oh, okay. That was to a super chat earlier.
Sorry, I don't know all the lingo. I'm not a gamer. Charlene Ferguson said, happy horror movie day. What are your faves?
Gonna watch any?
You're not really a horror movie guy. I'm not really a horror movie girl, so I don't
like old slashers, as I've told you guys time and time again. I usually watch the Scream movies 1 through 4 before, the holidays, before Halloween, and I'll watch the original I Know What You Did Last Summer and maybe a couple of other things. I'll probably watch the original Candyman.
For me...
Or Children of the Corn.
I think M. Night Shyamalan is the best for me. It's not too psychologically unnerving, but it is interesting. I like Devil a lot.
Oh.
But even that, I don't like to watch movies that make me feel like I'm not alone. Shane H. Wilder said, speaking of good show, the latest Murder in a Small Town is fire. Last episode for 3 weeks because of elections.
Say what?
The latest episode of Murder in a Small Town. Did you watch it?
No, it will be on Hulu tonight. So
Okay.
I'll be able to watch it tonight. I will probably write my totally mismatched, completely disconnected review as it's going, and then edit it as I go. As I always do.
As you should.
With these things, because I get freaked out at the idea of organization and just start typing.
Sorenko Productions said, was this around the time when Ariana Grande got caught licking donuts? Anyone else remember that? Or was that successfully memory hold? People do bring it up from time to time, but I think this happened a couple of years after the donut scandal.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in this donut shop and she just started licking the donuts that were on display, but not buying them.
Should be a meme. It should say like, lick the donuts to assert your dominance.
And I think she was making fun of the people in the donut shop for being fat. And that's why she said, I hate America. She licked the donut and then said, I hate America.
I can only picture you saying that was iconic to that happening.
It might have been iconic if she bought the donuts. Pop Culture Junkie said Ungentlemanly Warfare had piss poor marketing.
I don't remember really any marketing. I don't even remember how I found out about it, but I think I ended up watching it over like holiday break.
By poor marketing, you mean none. Shane H. Wilder said, hey, I shouted you out for your joke last night. Tim didn't read it. Oh, that's a shame. Also, Ariana sounds petty AF. It's not giving what she thinks it's giving. It's not giving. Stone Sting. Oh, already read that one. Evan Gallis said, new idea for Mary's Prince Charming movie. Wait till 2028. Cast Barron Trump and Sydney Sweeney as the princess. Yes.
That would make her older than him. So he's got his what's the term? What would be it's not a MILF princess because she's not a mom yet. So would be, he's the younger one. So she's the one who's, she's the cougar
Cinderella.
Cougar princess. And,
I'm not liking the idea as much now, but Barron Trump definitely has a prince look. He is princely. He is noble. Who would play Cinderella though?
They'll cast Jenna Ortega.
No, we can't keep doing this. They can't keep getting away with it.
It could be worse. They'll end up casting Rachel Zegler.
Oh no.
They'll be like, accept the Ortega.
Second time's the charm.
They'll be like, accept the Jenna Ortega or it gets worse.
We're in a hostage negotiation with Disney right now.
They're like, well, they're like, we're not gonna. No. Like you don't take this, you're getting the Zegler. You don't take the Ortega, you're getting the Zegler.
Hiroshima Otaru said, the richer you are, the more free stuff you get.
This is true.
Well, usually that's free stuff you get without asking for it. So it's a little different. Robert Steinhauer said, Mary, you are beautiful. Have you guys watched Reign Over Me yet?
No.
I have not, but thank you for the compliment. Shane H. Wilder said, this is why I donate food instead of cash.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I've never pretended that me doing that is some type of selfless act. It's not.
And what is it?
I don't know.
That's why I was so confused with your answer, because you're just like, I don't know. And I'm like, you should know why you do the things you do.
I have a completely fine level of comfort not knowing.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm just uncomfortable. But it's your money, man. Javier Bernal said the Snickers joke is innuendo.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
The white guys for Harris eating Snickers upside down.
There was a meme.
There's sexual
I guess I didn't see
there,
it.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeff said best Brainrot is the Bernice song from Zenless Zone Zero. The official YouTube channel even released it as an hour-long loop.
That's
LOL.
Awesome.
Pat the Plumber said you can see Hannah Claire on the Quartering FYI.
Oh, that's awesome.
Already?
That's
Damn.
awesome. Well, yeah, that's
I saw
great.
he responded.
Yep.
So that's cool. Shane H. Wilder said homographic shirt where the EKG pulses. Brett, there is a Chosen app. They have behind the scenes and commentary too. Homographic.
I'm picturing like
he said holographic. Damn autocorrect. Okay, just making sure.
There's just something so unbelievably inescapably modern about the idea of watching Jesus part the red. Like I'm watching like the Red Sea get parted, and there's just an actor talking about it in audio commentary.
Well, they haven't done the Old Testament yet. That would be the Old Testament.
What I'm saying, right? Like there's just something like I'm picturing when they do the Joan of Arc spin-off and everyone's on the arc, and then the actress is just talking about it, and there's just something so it almost feels like it belittles
the behind the scenes feels like scummy to you.
Not scummy, it's just it's so unbelievably modern. It's like it's one thing to do the audio commentary for a regular movie. It just feels like something else that I don't know. It feels weird to me.
I don't see it as weird.
Is there audio commentary on Passion of the Christ?
Probably.
Like, is there like behind the scenes footage of Jim Caviezel? Like, that was the scene where I got electrocuted when they were raising me on the cross.
Probably. I'm guessing. 200 Watt Studio. Oh, thank you guys. That's number 6 today.
Thank you.
Eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
Did we get that 20?
I didn't see a 20. Hold on.
Eating the cats.
From Robert Steinhauer?
Robert Steinhauer said, I've watched Chuck many a times over. Could not recommend more. And Mary, you are beautiful. Thank you.
It really is such a great show. I can't stress enough how awesome every character. Like, it's the type of thing where as great as Zachary Levi as Chuck is, and as Yvonne Strahovski is as Sarah, and obviously as Adam Baldwin is as Casey, it's like it's Jeff and Lester and Big Mike who work at the Buy More that make it. Like, there's literally a line yesterday where the manager comes in and he goes, "Good work, Chuck." And he goes, the more work you do, the less work I have to do. And he goes, "Very inspiring, sir." And Casey goes, "A real call to arms." Like that. It's fantastic. And the idea that this store exists where people just come in after hours and get drunk and stuff, all this unbelievably unrealistic stuff happens at what is essentially a Best Buy in like Burbank, California. It's just so much fun. And I really do think everyone should go watch it.
200 Watt Studio said Michael was talking like he was recruiting for a cult. Love bomb, isolate, gaslight, hug. Michael Keaton, I meant.
Yes, I'm guessing in relation to Michael Keaton endorsing.
He did too? He did. Okay, I didn't see that. Shane H. Wilder said, I just rewatched Devil, so underrated. It seriously is. And I think M. Night Shyamalan gets a lot of hate that he doesn't deserve. Somebody
in the chat earlier said they really enjoyed Cabin in the Woods. How did we? I think we just kind of felt no sort of way.
We were meh on it, basically.
But I think
it was an interesting concept for sure.
I did say, however, that I think Batista had a great performance in that movie, despite the fact that the movie itself was substandard.
I didn't like that the parents had to be gay for no reason.
Felt like it was like a studio.
It was just shoehorned in there. Like, there was no explanation for it whatsoever. Evan Gallis said, did Ian steal your YouTube play button and melt it down into graphene?
Very possible.
You know what? I didn't think of it until you just mentioned it, but now I'm suspicious. Greg Duvier said, Mary had a great grape analogy last night on IRL. Well, not my analogy. I didn't come up with it, but it is pretty great and accurate. Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, which is better, First Kid or Blank Check?
Angels in the Outfield is better than both of them, but Blank Check, I guess. I remember Blank Check better, and I've seen it more times. But all those, there's so many great old Disney classics that are on Disney Plus. I'm so glad that I don't have to pay for it. But
have you seen what was it, Smart House?
No, I never saw Smart House.
You should watch that. I bet you would like it.
I know that they've done horror versions of that. There's horror versions of those types of movies now, but yeah.
200 Watt Studio, I am not reading that.
Understand.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, Moses parted the Red Sea, Joan of Arc was not on Noah's Ark, and there is commentary on the Passion of the Christ. Look, I wasn't going to say it. Yeah. I was just going to leave it alone. But thank you for issuing these corrections.
Did I say Joan, not Noah?
Yeah, you said Joan, but it's okay.
Point being that all of these things happening, right, it feels like it's bigger than the idea of audio commentary being made.
But you could, I mean, I'm sure any actor would say that about their own movie. Like, oh, it's too big. Like, it doesn't need an explanation. Let the art speak for itself.
I kind of felt the same way about I don't want to see audio commentary on Schindler's List either.
I don't know. I just don't see it as some kind of sellout tactic. Like, it's not like it cheapens it in any way.
I'm not saying selling out. I'm saying that it just feels unbelievably modern for stories so old. For stuff that's so old.
Okay. It just takes you out of the immersion?
Yes.
Well, then don't watch
You're transcribing. Well, no, you mean don't listen to watch
to it,
it. So you're retelling biblical stories, and that feels like there's a great.
But that's it doesn't make sense that you're saying that about audio commentaries because obviously The Chosen is a cinematic rendition of literally the Bible, which is ancient.
My point is that it's not that I think it's bad. It's that I laugh at the idea of it.
Okay.
It's funny to me.
Yeah, I get that.
It's funny to me.
Are we all caught up?
I think we are all caught up. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Again, thank you all so much for joining us today, and to anyone that is new here, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Guys, I am on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, guys, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show, you can leave reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, particularly reviews and 5-star ratings. We only want 5-star ratings.
Well, you can just say how you feel, but...
No, 5-star ratings.
Okay, well, yeah.
And if you want to follow the show on social media, Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisispod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.